As defenses become more and more exotic each season with their blitz packages and more of them implementing 3-4 schemes where a 350-plus pound behemoth clogs the middle of the line of scrimmage, the center position has become more and more important. Not only is it imperative to be smart and call out the protections, instructing his fellow linemen which rusher to pick up, that center is also the one matching up with that mammoth nose tackle on each and every snap. Okay, not every snap. I mean, nose tackles are lucky to play 2 snaps in a row. But, centers are 350 pounds. Most don't even go over 300. So you can certainly make the case that the center position is the most important on the offensive line today. And it's the left tackles who are the ones that are getting paid. With all that being said, however, we're currently in a transition period pertaining to having elite centers like a Kevin Mawai and a Jeff Saturday from, a decade back. The top guy on this list is certainly not the same player he was a few years ago, but there are a few young and upcoming centers who have the potential to become among the game's elite. They're just not there yet. So what do I look for in a center? Well, I've already delved into some of these in a little bit, but there's intelligence, strength, and quickness. Intelligence, setting the proper blocking assignments and picking up on what type of front you're seeing prior to making the line calls. Strength, having the power and lower body strength to hold your ground against those aforementioned space-eating nose tackles, being balanced, keeping your feet underneath you, and anchoring your defender at the point of attack. And then there's quickness, possessing the mobility to get to the second level, cut off the linebacker, having quick hands because you have to go from snapping to blocking in a split second. So you initially have that one hand for blocking purposes. Nick Mangold is the top center on my list, and it's crazy because a year ago, it appeared that Father Time had caught up to the 6-time Pro Bowler. He had just turned 30 years old and, was coming off a very, very poor season in 2013, but 2014 proved that Mangold still has a couple good years left in the tank, and he's back atop my list. To combat those nose tackles disrupting the middle, most teams sacrifice a guard to help out that center, but Mangold is one of the few that can take on that nose tackle one-on-one, despite the 50-pound weight disparity. He can lock and drive with the best of them. So not only does Mangold have the power to hold off these beasts, he has enough lateral agility to slide over and help his guards out with a combination block. He's also an excellent pass protector, but an even better run blocker. He has a great knowledge of angles and seals off defenders to create lanes for his running back. So, he's back to being the top guy in the game. Travis Frederick has had 2 extraordinary years to start his NFL career, and he's number 2 on my list. He has a lot of strength, using it to neutralize a nose tackle and drive down a gap defender. It's close between he and Mangold as to who is the best run-blocking center in the game, but I give the slight edge to Frederick. He has fantastic technique, quickness, but is also powerful at the point of attack, whether he's going downhill or pulling to the outside. Mangold, however, has a pretty sizable advantage in pass protection, which is why I went with Frederick as the runner-up. You can't match up one-on-one the way Mangold can against those nose tackles. Maurkice Pouncey checks in at number 3. He's athletic, plays with attitude and aggression. His best season was his rookie one in 2010. He's been battling, nagging injuries ever since. He did start all 16 games a year ago after tearing his ACL in week 1 of the 2013 campaign. Makes all the proper calls at the line of scrimmage, stays low, allows him to hold his position, on the passing downs. And run blocking is one of the main reasons for Le'Veon Bell's emergence as, the top running back in the league, at least in my opinion. Uses his quickness to pull and then his strength to redirect when meeting defenders in the hole. Alex Mack is number 4. He's going to, attempt to pick up where he left off early in the season before suffering that season-ending broken fibula in a Week 6 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys want to talk about an underrated offensive line in today's game? That one in Cleveland is very, very good. The Cowboys have, the best one. They're the ones that, everyone talks about. They're the offensive line that won Player of the Week against Seattle. But honestly, Browns are not too far behind. You got Joe Thomas. You got an underrated pair of guards in Joel Petonio and John Greco. You got Mack, and you got the right tackle Mitchell Schwartz. So that's a pretty good little fivesome there. In his 5 games played, Mack didn't allow a sack, surrendered just one quarterback hurry. In the run game, he uses his athleticism to easily get to the second level, plays with very, very good balance. Jason Kelce, 5th-ranked center on my list, is extremely athletic, perfectly suited for Chip Kelly's high-speed, up-tempo attack. There's a sweep play that Chip likes to run where he pulls Kelce to the outside. It's an updated version of Lombardi's staple of the 60s, and a few teams in the league have copied Kelly's sweep, but none run it better than the Birds. It amazes me how far down the field Kelce gets on those runs. He's not going to overpower you, but he has the quick hands and can sustain blocks. In the passing game, Kelce uses that unique agility to help out Philly in the screen game. Due to his lack of strength, he does need help against those opposing nose tackles. Does have some injury history as well. Missed 14 games in 2012 due to a knee injury, and 4 years ago due to a sports hernia. The highlight of the Jimmy Graham deal for the New Orleans Saints, Max Unger, is number 6. Missed significant time last year with foot and ankle injuries, and Seattle's offensive line definitely took a hit during his absence. He's an outstanding run blocker, perfect fit for Seattle's zone blocking scheme. When he played last season, Marshawn Lynch averaged 5 yards per carry, but that number fell to 4.4 when he didn't. But it'll be interesting because it appears that the Saints are moving to a more ground-based attack with the addition of C.J. Spiller to go along with Mark Ingram and Kyrie Robinson. So Unger will definitely help out there if that's what they plan on doing, because he's not the best pass protector, which is interesting because the Saints like to focus their protections up the middle with their guards and centers. And Unger is a guy that tends to get overpowered and knocked off balance. But as a run blocker, he's outstanding. Rodney Hudson is number 7 on my list. He's undersized, but he's quick and agile. He's at his best in a zone blocking scheme where he can get to the second level and seal off linebackers. His hands are active, gets them inside a defender's pads, which helps him sustain blocks. Plays with balance and pass protection, but he can be overpowered. But he's good. He's pretty good overall. Kory Linsley checks in at number 8. Blossomed as a rookie. 2014 5th-round pick. Was one of the steals of that draft. He's very powerful, but also agile enough to make blocks inside, outside, and in the screen game. Very, very well-rounded. Ryan Kalil is number 9. He's been a lot higher in my rankings in the past, but his inadequacy as a pass blocker is why he hasn't stayed in the upper tier. He allowed the 3rd most hurries of the starting centers last season. As poor of a pass blocker as he is, though, complete opposite as a run blocker, agile enough to seal the edge, but also the strength to overpower linebackers and safeties on the second level. John Sullivan rounds out my top 10. Light on his feet, but also strong enough to anchor against a defensive tackle. Although he's not overpowering, not overpowering enough where, you can leave him one-on-one against the nose tackle. But he did well, run blocking even without Adrian Peterson there last year. Quick feet, allows him to pull, get to the second level with ease. So, and also very, very smart. One of the smarter centers in the game. Chris Myers is 11th, Mike Pouncey 12th, Stefen Wisniewski 13th, Brian Puente 14th, Will Montgomery 15th, Jeremy Zuttah 16th, Cam Erving 17th, Evan Smith 18th, the former Evan Dietrich Smith. He took Dietrich out of his name now. Daniel Kilgore 19th, and Bryan Stork is 20th. We'll see how Pouncey bounces back, playing center again. Played guard last year. Very, very disastrous season for him. But he's back to being a center, and that's where he's at his best. So I think he'll bounce back. The Browns' selection of Erving is interesting because it tells me that, they don't plan on re-signing Mack. I do like Erving a lot, and he should be a fit there in Cleveland, if they don't intend on bringing Mack back. Myers and Puente are still free agents as of July 31st. So, like Evan Mathis, they're still looking for a job. But, like Mathis as well, they're also pretty up there in age. Some other names I like. Chris Watt I like a lot at number 21. He'd be higher if I saw more. But look for him to slide up the ranks come next season. I thought A.Q. Shipley had a really good year last year. He's 24th. And prior to his injury, I thought Joe Holly at number 28 was very, very impressive. So those are my center rankings. I am now done the offensive side of the ball. So in the next day, maybe 2 days, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, when I'm going to do my next video, but it's time to move on to the defense. And defense wins championships. So 4-3 DNs will be next. And I hope you guys like this video. Debate with me whether you have any gripes or not. Who's your top 5, who's your top 10, who's underrated in your book. If you have any bones to pick with, make sure you do it in the comment section below. With that being said, I'm Adrian Fenke. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @TheBitterBirds. I'm out. Later. Enjoy.